it's ironic. It's also ironic, I think, that the MAGA base has drawn the line on this issue when there are certainly multiple other issues where the president has changed his tune. But it's this one that has really got them fired up. And as you sort of showed in the clip that you played earlier from the president, it's really frustrating the heck out of him.
Now, the Speaker of the US House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, has announced an early adjournment of the chamber, thus stalling efforts to force the release of documents related to the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. The move delays what could be a very difficult vote on the matter, at least until September. And it comes as the Deputy US Attorney General Todd Blanche is planning to meet Ghislaine Maxwell in the coming days to find potential accomplices in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking schemes. Asked about the ongoing Epstein investigation, President Trump was asked about this by the media. He quickly, though, wanted to move on.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt. Just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that.
Well, that was President Trump speaking earlier today. Let's talk to Jeff Mason, White House correspondent for Reuters. Good evening to you, Jeff.
Good evening to you.
This scandal over Jeffrey Epstein is just refusing to go away. Today, we've had Mike Johnson, US House of Representatives Speaker, managing to stall a vote on the release of files relating to Jeffrey Epstein. Just explain what's going on.
Well, yeah, I'll start with the significance of what Johnson did. It underscores the divide within the Republican Party and the pressure that is on not only Johnson, but also on President Trump to give the MAGA base, and when I say MAGA, I mean the Make America Great Again base. That's the slogan that President Trump has used for his campaigns, what they're asking for. And they're asking for more details on this Jeffrey Epstein case and these files that they believe have answers as to who were other people who were involved or clients, so to say, who were part of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. So far, the president and his administration have not released those files, and what Johnson has done by delaying or by releasing his members essentially a little early is he's delayed a vote on this and tried to create some cooling off time between now and September when the House will come back into session.
Because, of course, President Trump himself, during his election campaign, was absolutely the forefront of saying, we're going to release all these files. It's outrageous the way that they've been covered up. But since he returned to the White House, he's changed his tune.
Yes, and that it sort of underscores, again, the danger in dealing in conspiracy theories and selling those conspiracy theories to your supporters and then not being able to deliver on them when you're in power. And that is the essence of what's going on here. It's not just President Trump, it's his people. It's the leader of the FBI and the deputy leader of the FBI and others who have engaged in and flamed these conspiracy theories before they were in office. Now they're in office and they're asking people to believe what had been told to them before that they rejected, which was things like that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in jail. It's ironic. It's also ironic, I think, that the MAGA base has drawn the line on this issue when there are certainly multiple other issues where the president has changed his tune. But it's this one that has really got them fired up. And as you sort of showed in the clip that you played earlier from the president, it's really frustrating the heck out of him.
Yeah, and now just explain what's happening with Ghislaine Maxwell, because, of course, she is serving time in prison, having been sentenced for her role in helping Epstein to traffic some of his victims. There's now been this vote to subpoena her to testify before Congress, but she's also apparently going to be speaking to the Deputy U.S. Attorney General. Explain what's going on there, Jeff.
Well, you sort of just did so in your question, and I don't have a lot more detail than that. The Deputy Attorney General has requested this meeting. My understanding before coming on the air with you is that it hadn't been set up yet, so I don't know. You may have more information on that than I, but it is interesting that the administration, and in this case, someone from the Justice Department, is wanting to visit with someone who's been convicted and perhaps the only person who has been held accountable for crimes related to what Jeffrey Epstein did.
And finally, and just briefly, if she were to testify before Congress, presumably that could be embarrassing for President Trump.
Well, there's no way to know what she would say. That's true. I can certainly say that I think the president and the people around him would be preparing to have either a way of lifting up what she said if she said something that was beneficial to him, or to denigrate it if it was not beneficial to him. Keep in mind, this is someone who is in prison and who wants to get out. So, if she is allowed to testify, and I don't even know how that would work as someone who's a current prisoner, but if that were to proceed, then yeah, there would be very high stakes for this president and a lot of other people who are alleged to have had associations with Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeff Mason, White House correspondent for Reuters. Great to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Your Deputy Attorney General has reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
Do you have any concern that your Deputy Attorney General, as your former attorney, would be conducting the interview, given...
No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. When we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start, after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. So that's really the things you should be talking about. I know nothing about the other, but I think it's appropriate that they do go.
May I ask you about that, Mr. President?
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard has submitted a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. From your perspective, who should the DOJ target as part of their investigation? What specific figures in the Obama administration?
Well, based on what I read, and I read pretty much what you read, it would be President Obama. He started it. And Biden was there with him, and Comey was there, and Clapper. The whole group was there. Brennan, they were all there in a room. Right here, this was the room. An admitted fraud. She paid $12 million, and the Democrats. Those papers, they have them stone cold, and it was President Obama. It wasn't lots of people all over the place. It was them too. But the leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one look, he's guilty. It's not a question, I like to say, let's give it time. It's there, he's guilty. This was treason, This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries. You've seen some pretty rough countries. This man has seen some pretty rough countries, but you've never seen anything like it. And we have all of the documents. And from what Tulsi told me, she's got thousands of additional documents coming. So President Obama, it was his concept, his idea, but he also got it from crooked Hillary Clinton. Crooked is a $3 bill. The Philippines or anyone else, we're setting records at levels that nobody's ever seen before. But you know what? And it's the most unbelievable thing I think I've ever read. So you ought to take a look at that and stop talking about nonsense, because this is big stuff. Never has a thing like this happened in the history of our country. You could deal with China. You should deal with China, but